body the exact same way.
Yep.
It scales down and up.
Yep.
It happens at the subatomic scale, and guess what? It also happens at the macro scales. And that's
right.
what I think we're going through that process right now.
Yeah.
I think the universe is structuring us. We're not structuring ourselves. I believe there are physical forces in reality that tell us to behave in certain ways.
That's
and
right.
that we are being structured in a particular fashion. And so to go back to this whole thing, when you give in to natural law, when you give in to the rules of reality, to the simulator that we're living in, and you don't impose your beliefs onto reality, but instead allow reality to impose its forces upon you, and then you adjust to them, that gives you the capacity to actually, what I classify, self-actualize.
Right.
And what I would say is self-actualizing is just becoming part of the emergent system that is the universe.
That's right.
That's what I see it as. And so it's that, to me, describes the beauty. I've experienced it in given moments when I'm tampering with some of the technologies that we have in Brazil at the moment, and I feel it, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the most, I've taken psychedelics, and this surpasses it 1,000,000 times over. There's no anxiety. I get done with it, and I'm just dumbfounded by what it feels like to connect to this thing, and to do it without having to take anything is beyond amazing. And so for me, that's what my existence is ultimately about, is so ultimately, it's not even, I feel like so many times people are thinking about, how do I manage my anxiety by doing something? Eventually there comes a point where you don't think that way, and you're like, I'm living in this moment right now.
Yep.
And it's like gratitude doesn't become a practice. It becomes a mode of operation.
Yes.
It becomes an automatic.
Yes.
And so for me, every day that I wake up, I'm like, it's not like I have to sit there and say, man, I'm so grateful. I just live that way by the efforts that I put forth, by how ham I go at trying to figure out my structure.
Right.
When you embrace that, it's the most inspiring thing that you could possibly have. And when you feel it, I'm sure you guys feel it as well. When you feel it, it's impossible not to fucking understand it and say, well, this is what I want to do more than anything.
Yeah, and it's being prompted by structure, by you trying to fix, like your body's changing as you're doing this.
Like, think about it. What is anxiety? Isn't it trying to just micromanage your problems in life?
Right.
It's over.
Well, it's like revving your engine, but actually accomplishing nothing.
But you're
trying to
just
control.
focused,
Yeah,
you're trying to control variables, but the problem is, how many variables can you control for consciously?
Right.
When you walk, how many processes are going on simultaneously?
That's right.
Billions, trillions, hundreds of trillions?
Yeah.
Probably, if you think about how much cellular communication is going on amongst trillions of cells and bacteria, right? How are you going to be able to micromanage all of that? That's where Dr. Michael Levin gets it right.
He's talking about intelligent groups, in other words, your cells, et cetera, and then those create an intelligent group, and then it scales up to like human civilization, essentially.
Yes. Did you want to bring up what this individual brought up on Instagram?
That fits in really well, actually, with the current topic.
Awesome.
Movement for Air says, can you guys discuss how FP addresses the nervous system, generally speaking?
Just stop separating it as if it's a separate thing
as a
from
separate
everything
thing.
else.
Tyranny of words. Read Tyranny of Words if you want to understand.
Can you rephrase the question for the mic, for the video?
Oh yeah. What was it again? I'm sorry.
How does FP repair the nervous system?
How does it address the nervous system? So, like, for example, when we're helping people with neurodegenerative disorders, right? One thing I want to talk about just real quick, too, is there's another Fresco concept in terms of tyranny of words, et cetera, et cetera. I think what Naughty's talking about, too, relates to the fact that Fresco has said this before in terms of you can't study the brain. You can study the characteristics of the brain in relation to its environment.
The brain is a responding mechanism.
Exactly. The brain is a responding mechanism. So and therefore you can extrapolate that. The human is a responding mechanism. So if you want to talk about the nervous system, you have to talk about how your nervous system is relating to its environment, which when you're talking about abstractions, when you're talking about, if you have an objective sense of what is actually there as opposed to imposing upon it, then you typically get a reduction in anxiety, et cetera. And people who do like the NLP, the neuro